No criminal record.
Looking after the elderly in the homes was known as granny farming.
Homes are staffed by carers working long shifts on little more than the minimum wage.
You feel as if you're just not worth anything, as if you're just not appreciated at all.
There are times where I feel, why am I doing this for the amount of money I get paid?
And there's a staggering lack of specialist training to understand the complex needs of people with dementia.
From my experience, they're like little goldfish. They go round and they're forgotten. The time they walk to the dining room, back to the lounge, they're forgotten.
I wanted to see if I could do something to improve the business of care. I wanted to show everyone that our final years don't have to be spent in dementia farms, bored and waiting to die.
There's somebody looking after us.
I had absolutely no idea what I was taking on.
So Gerry is here now. Morning to
Morning.
you. But very interesting programme, quite disturbing. Just to pick up on that lady at the end who says she has no idea where she is. She was calling out for half an hour for some help and didn't get any. And that just sort of typifies the care in some homes.
I'm afraid it does. And unfortunately, it's not just a few homes. You know, a lot of homes, I think, are very badly run. Some are brilliantly run. And in a way, that's what's depressing. It can be done in a way that engages people, that leaves them feeling that life is still worth living, that they know what's happening. I mean, up to a point. And therefore, when you see it done like that, it leaves you feeling, why aren't we doing it across the piece?
Well, does it come down to anything more than staffing levels and money?
Yeah, it comes down very much to the attitude of the manager stroke owner, and they're often one and the same thing. If you really care for people, then you have a totally different attitude towards it, as opposed to running it as some kind of business. And one of the homes recruits people based on just on that capacity. That, you know, are you someone who will talk to someone at a bus stop? Will you wear your heart on your sleeves? Will you sing with someone? Will you dance with somebody? If you recruit people like that, the difference they make to the way that they deal with people who are residents in these homes is phenomenal, and that's what we've got to try and get to. And
an interesting thing that comes out of the programme as well is that actually in some care homes very little is known about the residents and their history. So in terms of communicating with them, it's extremely difficult.
And it's ludicrous because you have files and risk assessments. You know, health and safety, which is already mad in the rest of life, is, you can imagine, here has gone bananas. You've got files with all sorts of stuff. Whereas one little booklet that told you, that Doris liked to go on safaris, she loved her dog George, and her husband was called Harry, that sort of stuff would be far more valuable. And what's really alarming is that when you sit with somebody and you hold their hand and you look them in the eye and you talk to them, in every single incident you make a connection. It may not always be totally logical to you, but you can see that a connection's been made and they talk about things. These are people, who they've fought in the war, they've done all sorts of amazing things in their lives, and here they are at a time when they really need us, and we have totally let them down.
I think I heard you say in that clip there that all you need is the money to buy a home and a lack of a criminal record. You don't need a licence?
You don't. You can buy a home. You need certain qualified people. Like, you have to have nurses on call, 24 hours a day. But as the owner, anyone, as I said, without a criminal record, you can buy a home. And the owner has an enormous influence on that quality of care, that thoughtfulness, which is the key to doing this well.
When you were filming, you met a couple, a delightful couple, Daisy and Don, and we're going to show a clip of them because this really shows how human interaction can make a huge difference to people suffering with dementia.
There was one resident at Woodland who stood out for me. Daisy seemed to have an unusually strong air of well-being.
Don, you come in every day?
I come here from 2 o'clock till 8 o'clock. And I don't let nothing stand in the way of those hours. I don't want to come and see it, no matter who it is. I've told everybody that wants to come to my house, doctors, NHS, whoever they are, it's no good you coming to my house in those hours that I'm coming up here, because I won't be seeing you, because I'm seeing Daisy, and that's it.
And what gives you the strength to do that? What gives you the strength to do that?
Because I love the girl. That's why.
You love me.
Yes, I do love her very much, and I can't see no point in standing up in front of the vicar, being a big guy, and saying, till death us do part and all that, and then next minute you're gone and mucking about with someone else. I don't believe in that rubbish, because she's a lovely person. If I'd have let these people, or whoever, wherever she went, put her in a corner and forget about her and say, oh, she's lost her marbles and all that silly trash, she wouldn't be as bright as she is today.
It's all about engaging with people, really, isn't it? And having time.
Having time, and actually, you know, you need the system to be like Don, don't you? You need someone who really thinks about people, who's prepared to put effort into it, because it's not easy. It's not easy to deal with it, because you don't get the normal response back, and therefore you have to really work at it. But when you see it happen, it really is, it's uplifting. It's uplifting.
There is one care home you go to see, and it is uplifting, the sort of level of care that they offer, and they have lots of activities and they engage, but it's £750 a week. And it does make you think that if you can afford that care, great, but so many people can't.
Well, there is the issue that money obviously has an impact, but one of the homes that we spend a lot of time in, a home called Maryvale, where it's no more expensive than anywhere else, and I promise you the care there is spectacularly good.
Is that the training? Is that because the people in the home, do they have a different mentality?
It's
What's
all
the
of
difference?
that. It starts off with the owner, who really does care about getting it right, and she recruits people very carefully who have the capacity to care. Not everybody has it, but you know, in this territory you have to have people who care. So they're very careful about who they recruit. They train brilliantly. They put an awful lot of effort into spending time with the residents, and that produces, I mean, seriously spectacularly good and uplifting results.
It's an issue we're going to have to confront more and more, though. We've got 700,000 people now with dementia. We have an ageing population. 20 years' time, the figure is 1 million. That's probably a conservative estimate, isn't it?
I think it probably is, because there are a lot of people who aren't in dementia care homes who really have got some form of dementia. The number is probably greater than the 1 million. And yes, we are going to have to address it, and it's not an issue of cost. You know, cost can come into it, but only at the edges. It really is an issue of caring, doing it properly, regulating it properly, and regulating it sensitively. Not so that everybody's covering their backside with 1 million forms, which is what happens now, but intelligently and careful regulation that makes sure that more people, at least the majority of people, get decent care, whereas your chances of ending up in a brilliant care home are less than good.
Thank you, Gerry, for coming on to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
Fascinating programme. You can see it's called Can Gerry Robinson Fix Dementia Care Homes, tonight at 9 o'clock on BBC Two. It's a two-parter, isn't it, Gerry?
All right, thanks very much.